Britt Hume, welcome back.
Thanks, Brian. Good to talk to you.
Well, first off, you knew Joe Biden as long as anybody. I mean, did you expect the poll numbers to go from 54 to 42 so quick? In another poll, he's as low as 38%.
Well, I didn't think it was going to end well, this administration, because I've known Biden for a long time, and even before he got as old as he is, there was always a very high screw-up factor with him. He's a very nice guy, and there's a lot of good in him, but nobody's ever accused him of being smart, at least not accurately. And, he has always had a propensity to screw things up, to say things he shouldn't have said, and blurt things out, and be unbelievably stubborn at times, and all these things have now come into play. I didn't know it would happen this quickly, but it is. I think it's going to be hard for him to reverse.
You know what the thing is, Britt, and maybe it was different in the 70s and 80s and 90s with the different presidents, Democrats and Republicans, but he has such a compliant press. I mean, the fact is he can't get through a teleprompter read without looking pained. He can't do any press conferences. His interviews always end up with being, they quickly have to scramble and walk 3 or 4 things back. Now he has almost no access. And then the Afghanistan was the worst debacle in modern American military history, and he has yet to recover now. All he's doing is pushing agenda, not responding to the news. So look at this poll. 9 in 10 Republicans say he hasn't accomplished anything. 7 in 10 independents. 2/3 of Democrats says he has, but that means 1/3 haven't, which is devastating for him. How does he losing independence?
Well, I think he's losing independence because of what he promised and failed to deliver. They wanted a return to normal. I think independents wanted that. They wanted to have done with Donald Trump and all of that, all of the tumult that went with him. And they wanted somebody they thought would be calm and seasoned and capable and competent. And he's proved to be he's seasoned all right. But he hasn't been calm and he hasn't been competent. Think about this for a second, Brian. I mean, here's Joe Biden, who's kind of a moderate, slightly thought of as a kind of a centrist guy, and he gets elected and everything. He's going to calm things down, and he decides that he wants to make a bigger mark than that. He doesn't want to just be a caretaker president who quiets things down. He wants to be, the second coming of FDR or something on that. And so how's he going to do that? By accepting the leftist agenda that he resisted from Bernie Sanders during the campaign, and got nominated by doing that, and then elected. And now here he is saying, "No, I'm going to nail the coonskin to the wall. I'm going to turn to green energy. I'm going to conquer global warming. I'm going to beat the pandemic with vaccine and other mandates and mask mandates. I'm going to do all these things," and it's backfired completely.
There's no question. It's the other area I want to, and you know what? I always thought and tell me if you think this analogy is apt. Reagan knew the big picture. He knew who to hire. He knew who to surround himself with. He didn't want to get involved, especially later on in the day-to-day, the play-by-play. He put competent people in charge. Yes, there was a problem with Iran-Contra. I get it. Yes, there was a problem with Donald Reagan. I understand it. But they knew how to do their job. Bush, 43 especially, people knew how to do their job. We used to argue about policy. But you know what's, to me, I am shocked that with all the experienced people he has around him, all they do is react. They're not ahead of anything. They don't even protect him and brief him on what's in the news before he even walks by a line of reporters. They are the thing they should have had down was the execution.
Yeah, I think he's got a weak cabinet, notably weak players. Tony Blinken is having a terrible time at the State Department. There's all kinds of doubts about the leadership in the Pentagon. Pete Buttigieg turns out to be a smooth-talking guy who doesn't really know what he's doing about transportation, so at least at this stage. He's getting on-the-job training, I think. But, in the meantime, his vice president is weak and not anybody I think he's ever had any respect for anyway. And even now, I'm sure he doesn't pay any attention to her. So we're adrift. His chief of staff is maybe the most important man in Washington, Ron Klain. He's been around a long time, but he's no certifiable genius.
Right. I obviously, but they say he is running things. Very curious to see how that book's done. The other thing is CNN does a report, interviewed 33 staffers of Kamala Harris. It is chaos behind the scenes. The same problem she had with her campaign that she had originally, she still has today. And she's blaming the White House for not giving her things that make her look good. Does this remind you of anything? This is an opportunity for a young Democrat to emerge when a president continues to stumble, and she's actually doing worse than anyone expected.
She's doing worse than he is. Well, I think the people realize that she's lighter than air. I mean, there's nothing really. There's no there that she's she's this sort of giggling, silly person who has on paper she looks like she potentially be great. She's a minority. She's a female. She's experienced in the sense that she was a prosecutor in California. She's elected to the Senate, and all that looks pretty good. And then when you get down to it, turns out that she's somebody who rarely has anything sensible to say, and seems like a silly person.
I just love the way you put things. It's rarely has anything sensible to say. Most people would just say she makes no sense. But it's Brit Hume has a turn of phrase. You're a pro. So I want to bring you to the door. I have to sometimes think for a second what you just said, because you say it in such a professional way, but they're really devastating lines. Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.